killed the surface of the skin and exposed the underneath part of the skin.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited to be back here to talk about the same topic of first aid in the case of burns, wounds, convulsions, and hangovers. My name is Nava Kabanova, your host today, and I'm here once again with Dr. Burns to dissect and have a conversation around the first aid and the myths and facts for these items in a language that we all understand and simple. Welcome, Dr. Burns.
Thank
we
you.
are so happy to see you,
Thank you
and to be with you once again.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
As I mentioned, we're going to talk about the wounds. So for the wounds, doctor, normally when there's a wound or something has cut a child, a stone they've fallen on a stone and there's blood gushing out, normally the first reaction is to stop the bleeding. We hold the wound so closely or tie a cloth around the wound. These days we have sanitizer. Me, I use sanitizer on wounds here at home. In my home, we use sanitizer. We spray on it so that we think the wound will quickly heal using the sanitizer. And some people use salt. What do you say about that?
Wow. Okay. Most of what you said are facts.
Okay,
so that's
nice,
a good thing.
nice. Yeah.
The idea behind the first thing you need to do with a wound is to stop the bleeding.
Okay.
And you do that by applying pressure, either directly on the wound or slightly above the wound.
Okay.
But the best thing to do in that situation is to apply pressure right over the wound using a clean cloth.
Clean, yeah.
Yes.
Clean is the key word here.
Clean is the key word. But even if you might be on the farm, it's not very clean, but just applying direct pressure on the wound. Now, about what else to apply on that wound is that's where the issues come in. We said in the previous video that one of the purposes of first aid is to alleviate pain.
Yes.
And I know you've put sanitizer on a wound before, and the first reaction you get is
burning. It burns for a short time, but
much as sanitizer is taking away the germs from the wound, it's not the ideal thing to apply on a wound.
Okay.
The best you can do, clean it with clean water, running water. Apply pressure to reduce the bleeding. Okay. And there are other things in the home you can use aside from sanitizer. There's these are they disinfectants? Dettol, Savlon. Those are less painful, and they're also killing the germs.
They're doing the same thing as the sanitizer.
The same thing as the sanitizer.
Okay.
So it's better to use something that won't create even more problems. Specifically pain in this case.
Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, doctor. For the burns, like you've been burnt by a fire or a hot source or hot water. So usually people apply sugar, people apply Vaseline, people apply cooking oil, honey. And viewers, I would like you to also help me here. Tell me, what do you apply on somebody who has been burnt, like children, maybe they touched a fire or beans have poured on them? Tell us in the comment section. Let's understand, what do we do? I've just mentioned a few, but let me allow Dr. Burns to tell us what is a myth among the things I've mentioned.
Most of the things you've mentioned are myths.
Really?
Yes.
This is interesting.
So when you get burnt, there's two things that happen. There's heat that has been applied to your skin, and the heat is going to keep spreading. Okay. And if it's a wet wound, like the wound has been caused by something liquid, milk, sauce, water, it's going to spread as far as where that liquid will go.
Has gone,
But also underneath, there's heat being produced because of the hot substance that has been applied to the skin. So the primary thing you want to do in that moment is reduce that heat.
Okay.
Because that's one of the injuries, heat. The other thing is you're exposing the skin. You've killed the surface of the skin and exposed the underneath part of the skin.
Okay.
Which exposure means exposed to germs.
Okay.
And the biggest worry with that is now we get an infected wound.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's two things: heat and then exposure to germs, which create an infected wound,
So first aid should be helping us to avoid a continued exposure to infection.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, great. I understand.
So, what did you mention? Sugar.
I said sugar, honey, olive oil, Vaseline, and what our viewers are also going to be telling us all those things.
The skin is already hot, and then you're applying something that melts, like oil and Vaseline and butter and whatever. It's going to keep melting because the skin is already hot. And you're creating another burn on top of the burn. Okay? So anything that melts, anything that attracts heat, the way oil does, is a no-go. So no Vaseline, no oil, no butter, nothing like that. Sugar, I can't think of a reason why sugar would be of help in that instance. So for that one, I also believe it's a myth.
Yes,
it's not reducing the heat, it's not keeping away infection, because germs attract, sugar
attracts more germs.
Sugar, bad idea. Honey is known historically to have healing properties.
Okay. Yeah.
So it is applying it on a wound when you just gotten burnt is a myth in one way, but it's also a fact because we know it is known to have.
It is medicinal in itself.
It's a medicinal household item. What I would advise is if the honey you have in the home is home honey, the household honey, don't use that, because household honey still has some germs in it, which when we eat, our bodies can fight that off. But when you put it on the skin may not be able to fight.
So we might be introducing more germs to the wound.
There is medical grade honey which we use in the hospitals. We disinfect it completely. Actually, we sterilize it, meaning it has no germs at all.
Okay.
So that one can be used on wounds and burns.
You say grade what?
Which one? Honey?
Yes, the honey one. Medical grade honey.
Yes.
So should we also bring this medical grade honey home and we use it on our bread, mandazi, in our tea?
Why? Why the extra expense?
I'm asking for someone out there because you brought it up.
There's no reason for that extra expense. The only reason we sterilize it is for us to be able to use it, use its medicinal purposes in the hospital. But the honey that's packaged well and brought to your home for food and for you to put on bread, put in your honey, lemon tea, whatever.
It
doesn't have to be medical grade honey.
Yeah, because when you said it had germs, I got worried that eating germs.
What we are calling germs here are safe for ingestion. They're like your digestive system can fight those germs off.
Thank you. At least someone out there has now understands. I'm sure I was asking for one of you people out there.
And they're out there clapping.
I'm sure they're clapping hands for me. Okay, so doctor, let's talk about convulsions. So convulsions or maybe epilepsy, somebody has fainted and something is happening and we don't understand. I see people some men even remove their shirts and start fanning the patient. Others, there's this thing of putting the spoon in the mouth so that they don't bite their tongue. Some people even say, slap them and maybe they come back. What do you say about that, doctor?
For convulsions, I would say a dramatic kind of emergency because it creates fear in everybody that's around, and there's a lot of attention that's attracted. The best thing to do as the one person that's there and responsible is give everybody something to do. Okay. It prevents unnecessary help, like too many cooks
spoil the broth.
Yes. It prevents unnecessary activity which is not helping. Because one, convulsions is like poison. There's nothing in that moment you can do to stop that convulsion there and then.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to, it happens, you let it happen. So the main thing during that time, it's the purpose I mentioned in the previous video of to protect the people that are unconscious. When someone is convulsing, they're unconscious. Okay. So protecting them. We are seated in this seat and I start to convulse, I might hit the edges of this table, I might fall down, hit my head on the ground, and that's further injury to me because I have no control on my actions. So protection is remove anything that could the person
do further injury to
while
the
they're having the convulsion.
Okay, good.
If it's a baby, hold them in the joint areas. Don't overhold them, because then you could even create a fracture while they're having the convulsion. So hold them, but in the joint areas so that they're in one space. Where if they're on the ground, as much as possible, keep them on the side.
Okay.
And wait out that convulsion. It's going to go away. It doesn't last very long. Okay. And in the process, one, call for help. All the people that are surrounding, get someone and say, Navaka, get your phone, call Dr. So-and-so, or call an ambulance, or call somebody who can come and pick us up and take us to the hospital. Yes. Give another person a role that remove these chairs. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Give another person a role that open the windows.
Windows for aeration.
So that people are not surrounding the place and kuja, slapping, giving advice. That's not going to help at all.
Agreed. I agree.
Hitting that person is not going to bring them back to consciousness.
You can actually kill them.
Yes, you could kill them, you could injure them.
Yes.
Putting a spoon in the mouth, well-intentioned, but they could bite that spoon and swallow a bit of it.
And even injure their teeth.
They'll injure their teeth. They could bite into it so hard that tooth comes out. So if they're going to bite their tongue during a convulsion, there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Okay.
So don't place anything in their mouth. They could swallow it, they could injure their tongue, they could injure their teeth.
I like what you mentioned about giving everybody a role.
Yes.
So that it's a teamwork and people are not doing unnecessary activities that are going to cause more injury.
Yes.
So guys, the last one, just one last one, doctor, is about the hangover. You know, when we've had drinks through the night and we're having a hangover, that you have a headache. So people usually take painkillers in the at the beginning of the day. Others take raw eggs, I hear, milk. Others even mention that take more beer, more alcohol. It will kill the hangover. This is our last area I want us to talk about, doctor. I can't say a hangover is an injury. Maybe it is, you can advise me. But that is another area we can help our colleagues who are experiencing the same.
So, this should be interesting, and I would be curious to know what people say in the comments about all the other things that have worked for them or that they know would work. I read somewhere that the best treatment for a hangover is to not drink at all.
Oh,
because you may not be able to predict when you'll get a hangover.
Agreed.
It's an effect. A hangover is an effect of taking too much alcohol, but the definition of too much alcohol is dependent on so many things, including your body, what your conditions were before you drank. Did you have a meal? Were you thirsty before you drank? Were you dehydrated? So, or even the type of alcohol that you took. So, too much alcohol is very circumstantial.
It depends on the situation.
It depends on the circumstances before and during the time you are drinking. Treatment for it, I don't know that any of the things you've mentioned work.
Would help.
Drinking more, actually that might be a sign of alcohol addiction.
Addiction, yes. We'll be encouraging more being addicted to alcohol.
Sometimes that's actually one of the signs if you want to drink more in the morning after. That's usually one of the signs of addiction. So that's not a good idea. Eggs, concoctions of raw eggs and whatever. Some raw eggs, first of all, that's uncooked food. So you could be creating problems for yourself by eating something that's not cooked.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of those work. The 3 things that work: drink water, hydrate, drink water.
Okay.
Because dehydration is one of the reasons for that hangover. So drink water.
Good.
Eat something, because again, very low sugars in your system are one of the reasons for the hangover.
Okay.
And take a break, rest, sleep it off. That's the other way to take the hangover away.
Oh, wow.
Those are the things that I know are scientifically proven.
Yeah, then I'll still give the challenge back to our viewers and to tell us what has worked for you, and maybe some good advice we'll be hearing from you. But thank you very much, Doctor, for this yet another session of demystifying and busting our myths on first aid, medical. As I mentioned in the last video, we are here to give you this information to help you take charge of your own health and the health of those around you. So please, if you haven't yet subscribed, remember to subscribe, hit the notification button. You will be getting notified whenever we post. We post every week, every Thursday. We'll be bringing to you very healthy conversations about our health. But thank you very much, good Dr. Barnes, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.